Hello and welcome to Dell's Gaming. I'm Dell and this is From the Depths Designer, and we are going to be building a ship today on this episode. So after our battle with the lightning hoods, been having a think about what can be done, and also taking into account the new patch and the changes it has made in to missiles and a few other bits and pieces. Not made 100% decision, but I've got there's a number of possible ideas that I'm heading towards. Just to quickly say, if you want to jump to particular sections, there is time codes as usual in the description below, so you can just jump to relevant bits of this build to the end to see the combat testing or any particular bits you want to see me building. But otherwise, generally I do go through my builds completely. I only cut out very laborious bits such as the balancing and bits which are just not very interesting to see, or I'm saying nothing because there's nothing to really think about. But generally, just for anybody who hasn't seen any of my build videos before. So, without further ado, and without delay, let's think about the basic ideas and the problems. Now, the problem with the lightning hoods was lasers. So now lasers is semi okay to resolve. We can put up some cloud producers. Now initially this is going to be a ship and not an aircraft. So this is a ship for the Turtle Fleet. The Turtle Fleet are a surface and or semi-submerged fleet. So it will be a ship that we will be building for this particular at this particular time. Now, a couple of things I noticed in that fight. Number one, being a little bit under the water did not help against lasers whatsoever. Now, maybe the Aquanautic fleet being 50 meters under the water may have a different, but just being slightly submerged did not help. In this particular instance, it does help with cannon fire because you get some bounces off the sea and you're exposing less of your superstructure, but against the lightning hoods they just didn't have any effect whatsoever. So the ship, the vehicle we're going to use, we're going to make, is going to be a more classical in the sea type of ship rather than being submerged like the normal turtles, I think, for the moment. I'm also going to go for speed. Now, I don't know if that'll affect with the lasers, but it might give them a bit of a problem targeting. But the other idea is to be able to close with the enemy very quickly. So, with any luck, so that we can close up and get our guns and missiles and everything firing at the enemy quickly, or chase them down, etc. Where else am I thinking here? My other thoughts on what I saw. Something that I don't know if it's going to be a problem is ships. The ships we'd built, although being very well armoured, against that cathode, which is going to be the one we're going to test against, we were getting destroyed before we even spawned in, it seemed like. As soon as you spawned, we were taken out. Now, there was something in the recent patch notes about rendering on loading or something, but I'm not sure on that. But it did seem like almost immediately that cathode was destroying the ship, or the AI, so we didn't even get a chance to fire when we spawned in. Now, there's two ways around that issue that I can think of. One is possible, one is not. One is range. If we start our combat at a good long enough range, then we've got a chance to at least get in and spawn before he starts attacking us. The other idea I've got, and the one I'm liking the thoughts of at the moment, is with the ship and the general ship is size. There's two levels here. Could go for really big ship with really big everything. So we just spawn it in and it deals with everything that is around us. Or we can go for many smaller utility ships, which together, the idea being that it can take out one, but you still got, let's say you got 4 ships, or 4 or 5 ships, in that same spawn area. He takes out one, you've still got 3 or 4 others that are still firing at it. At the moment, in the video, when he took out one of the large ships, that was it. It was taken out. There was no you had to wait for the next one to spawn, and the next one was damaged heavily before immediately it spawned in, and didn't even get a chance to fire. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if we create a number of smaller ships, so destroyer-sized vessels around the 2K block area, we can have a number of them spawned in. Also, the other side of this whole idea is we create specific destroyers. So these, for this moment, we're going to create an AA destroyer. So its main purpose will be defeating AA, aircraft with the various weapons available to us. And then we can also create destroyers which are specifically for long-range combat. And with the spawn queue, we can just pull in whichever we want for that particular eventuality. So anyway, this is a work in progress. It is a thought. Eventually, I would like to. I know people have said about the prawns. That I might bring them back in, possibly on the flying side. Bring in a leech, which I will potentially look at as part of either the avian fleet, potentially, just see if we can do a very nice animalistic. I've got an idea for them anyway, but for the moment we're looking at ships. So without further ado, let us get that first block done, which is going to be go in here, new object, a new vehicle. We'll go over this way a little bit to give us some distance, and we'll just lay out the basic infrastructure of the ship. Oops, let's get it out of the water. So something like we're going to possibly go for that sort of design. Yep, that should do. About that sort of length. It's obviously variable to a number of areas. Let's see, how big's that? That's going to be about 41. Yeah, that should be that'll fit in. Now, hopefully, I'm going to try and keep it around the 2K blocks, but certainly try and keep it under if I can. I want to make this cheapish to bring in as far as blocks go. As far, so that on the block count we can bring a few of these in a little bit wider. It's gonna be fairly well armed after our experiences. We need some good side armor, because those lasers were coming through. We're also going to have a lot of redundant systems on here, which was missing on the previous ships that were in the battle. It was taking out the AI very quickly, which everything relied upon. So we're going to have multiple AIs, engines maybe not so, but multiple engines possibly. We're going to have lots of warners, and we're going to look at all of the various options that are available to us. Okay, let's think here. 1, 2, right. Weapons. We'll quickly go through the plan for armament. The weapons are going to be dual purpose, generally. We're going to have cannons and missiles. Not going to go for a laser system. I'm going to try and defeat the lightning hoods with missiles and cannons for the moment. Just, because why not? And just because, no rational reason whatsoever. I'm thinking of a slightly different main gun. Now, previously on some of the AA systems, etc., I've created, like, quad barrel guns. Small, very fast firing quad barrel guns. Now their only problem, and I don't know if this was an issue against the Lightning Hoods in general, but they are a bit slow to turn, and they only have a range of say about 500-600 meters, and I think we need to go out to about the 1,000 meters or so with the cannons, and they're going to be that sort of range. Overall, the defense is going to be layers of defense. My old the onion combat system. So we're going to have an outer layer which is against AA, which will generally be missiles, which will be the long range defense system. So a few missiles which are firing at long range, you know, around over the 2,000 meter mark, which is well easily doable now with the new missiles. We can easily get some AA missiles even out to say about 4,000 meters. So we might be able to hit out to about 4,000. We'll then have a mid-level, more missiles at mid-level around the 2,000 to 3,000, which will be the mid-defense system with missiles. Then getting closer, we will have a couple of cannons around the 1,000-1,200 meter mark. And then a close-in system. Close-in, I think the cannons also will be able to target sea vessels as well. So yeah, that's the plan, I think, in my head. So missiles will be vertical launch. But we're going to start with this AA gun, because I want to have a little play with this. So we're going to have potentially two, one on the front, one say. Actually, I might have two on the front. We might have them slightly different heights. So we have one here, and then say one nearer the middle. The top one will have a 360 view, turn. The one here might have some limitations as to its turn, but we should be okay. Now, one thing I want to have a check on. Before we go too far, let's go here, is with the turrets is the options. Now normally, obviously, well, I say obviously, normally I choose a precision turret, and what I might try to do is just try and increase some of these factors just to make it turn a little quicker. I think that could be of benefit. And what we'll do is we're just going to make this a fairly simple gun to start with. Let's just say, and it's going to be a single barrel. Yeah, go there. We'll have a bit of decking to cover it, so nothing. Okay, let's do a backwards a little bit, and then over the top. It's going to be quite a long barrel actually on this, so let's go like that, and put a firing piece in there. We don't need a reasonable amount of accuracy, but it isn't going to be overly accurate. And we're going to go across a little bit there and there to put some items on the top, so it'll be a reasonable gun. Where are we? An elevation barrel. And then, now normally I'd keep this relatively small, but this time we're going to put some decent size on this. Say 6, and then 6 normal barrels. Let's put a couple of recoils on the end. Right, okay, so let's have a look at that. In that accuracy, 1.42 L80s, that's fine. The 80 elevation is the most important bit, and the recoils down a little bit, not too high. That's going to suddenly go up, because one of the key bits on this now is gauge. To get the range, if you go through my video on custom cannons, the gauge is going to have to be increased. That's 6 gauges, which should give me, let's just consult my notes on that, should give me about 1,300-1,400 meters range. in theory, which should be good enough, I think, for taking the ship out. Right, now, autoloaders. Autoloaders we're going to put down here. So they will be all on our... Oops, no, don't want one on the very top, because that's where the decking is going for our protection. So, this is a standard pedestal style of gun. Right, we'll put ammo boxes on the back, and we'll see what reload rate we can get off of this. Right, so what reload rates that give me? 0.32. Now I think that is as good as I'm gonna get. Yep. So let's take them off. So we'll put some explosive here. Get some explosive damage in on there. That looks good to me. And then we'll put some armor piercing on the top here. That's an armor piercing of 8. Yeah, I think we're gonna increase that a little further. What's the best way of doing this? What's that get me up to? 11.1. Okay, then that's good. So that's going to give me that. Let's just armor it up a little bit. Let me just go to a mirror line for this part. No, not a mirror line like that. Mirror line like that. Thank you. Right, mirror. And we have that there available. And we'll just give this a bit of armoring. There. Turn that round. We'll possibly put a predictor on the front just because I like to see what it's shooting at. Not 100% necessary, but I like to see that. Let's see, well, what can we put here? I'm gonna armor it up, but we are gonna use a whole load of oops, let's do metal blocks. That's not good ratio. Let's see, metal blocks here. And then we put the two. We'll put a 1 down. And the same here, and then a load of metal blocks in there, and some more metal down 1s. And then on the top, how many is that? 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll have to do it like that then. And we will put some metal blocks on the top. And in there. Shield, not worried about, because our primary adversary at the moment is not using cannons. So, shields, not worried. How many is that? 1, 2, 3. We could make that just blocks up. Where are we? There. And some metal blocks here. It's going to be a bit chunky. And then we'll put some metal slope down for there. Okay, that's going to give us a basic turret, and not very nice. Let's see if I can improve the looks of this a little bit, and at the same time increase the damage potential. We'll use a 2 meter on the rear there. I'm going a little too far with this, but don't care. And it needs to be at least a little bit looking reasonable. Now we'll just put a triangle in there. 2 meter triangle. Okay, yeah, I like that. That's not too bad. It's a slightly different shape, but yeah, I'll go with that. So, okay, now the next gun. Now, what we can do now is save this as a object. So, if we go here and then save as object, and we'll just call this, where it doesn't really matter, under rerun. Overwrite one of these. Destroyer AA. Okay, that's cool. Good. Right, now what we'll need is just to mark out where this ends. So first thing we need to do is just mark out its limits. Oops, let's go back to editing the hull. So its limits are going to be basically those points there. Okay, so we'll work out all those. We will put part of the controllers is this is going to have its own AI mainframe. That's going to be part of the redundancy we're going to have on here, and we're just going to put the weapon controller straight there and a fail-safe on the side of it, just like that. So now this we haven't got to worry about, we don't have lots of AIs on here. We'll set the distances, but you know, we're not going to worry too much about that at this second. But that's going to be the primary for that weapon, and then we'll duplicate that on the second one. Let's just set our system for our hull. Are we going to fit in there? No, we're not going to fit in there like that. Let's just block this out. I like to create everything in a boxed area. The idea is, A, you've got extra protection, because obviously they've got to get through an extra beam, although it didn't seem to really have that much effect when we were against the cathode. Also, if there's an explosion, the idea is it limits how much gets damaged, in theory. Again, it didn't seem to have that much limitation when we went against the cathode, but hey ho, never mind, eh? So that's that now nicely marked in, and that should move around quite nicely. Now we've got to allow for this to be able to turn, and also how high have we got to be able to fire above. Now the cannon is there, that level, 1, 2, 3. So the next cannon's got to be 3 blocks above this cannon to be able to fire over the top. Now we'll assume that we're going to be firing upwards or sideways. So yeah, we haven't got to worry too much. As long as it doesn't hit this, it will be able to turn around in front of it. Now one thing I haven't done here, I haven't armoured this gun. Not worried on that at this moment. If so there is a chance the gun will get hit, but again, as I say, not too worried. Now, how many does this go forward? It goes forward 1. Where's the centre point? The centre point is about there. So it's going back 4 and it's going forward 4. So I definitely need at least 4 that way. And then we can start thinking about that being the point of the next gun. Just the way my brain is working, so I've got to go up. I think it was 3 I said. Was it 3? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's go up 3. We can put something else down here. It's going to be quite a heavily armoured section. And it's going to be, the centre point is 4 from there. Yes, it's 3 in. So it's going to be just there. So if I now go, new object, no, load sub-object, Destroyer AA, 360 turret, precision, turn that the right way around, 3 in, just there. That worked out quite nicely. That seems to have just be at the right height. Excellent. Excellent. Right, we'll just put the AA in here as well. AI mainframe would be back here, and the local weapon controller just there, and the failsafe. And we're going to adjust these forces. So dampener force 0, and it's remembered that. So hopefully that will turn a little quicker and aim at our target. So that's that one done as well. We'll just put the armouring around the turret as we have done with the other one. Give it its there's a name for it. It's not the magazine, but there is a name. I keep on forgetting what it is. But this sort of like storage area where the gun gets put down into. As typical. I always forget what these words are. It's words, and they fail me. I don't know, because it's just words. Right, what we'll do is we'll put another section like this, and then we'll fill in that other bit. We might use that to... Oops, that goes there. We might fill that up with something useful in there. We might put some ammo in there, or something else. Just something useful. But it's generally blocked up. Maybe some ammo processors or something like that. Something which is useful. We'll put something in here in the center there. We can put some other AA or some other element just to use that space up a little bit. We'll just put that in there, which is going to be for the cover. Come on, get in there. Would that fit in there? No, that's not the... There's one here that I can't use that. Can't use that because that will... I am not on the gun, am I? No, that's fine. Okay, so we've got that in there. That's going to have to be some metal blocks in this section. And then we just simply put this on the back here. Okay, so that's that sort of section semi done. So that's the 2 cannon systems built. Now they've taken up quite a bit of the space at the moment, which is fine. We'll most probably find this is going to be the base of the hull. We will put a keel on here somewhere. So we will. There's that. I'm just going to mark off where the keel will go. The way I do a keel is I always try to leave a gap in the center. I put some metal here as just general weight. Could have done this with F3, and I will do that for this next one. There we go. Now that I know where it is, so it's just one more. I think we'll put one more in there. And then this center area I'll be putting lead in just to weigh it down to make sure it's not going to turn over. But our deck height is going to be about here. That'll be, and our sea height we'll try to have a couple of blocks below. I will, when I get into doing the hull, which is a little bit later, I will point out the hull a little bit. Right, next sections. Now, engines will go... Let's see, where's my engine going to go? I'm going to put the engine on the very rear, I think. Just for the moment. Yeah, that's or yeah, maybe centrally. Okay, let's think. What missile systems do we need? We need two missile systems. One is a long-range air-to-air, and the other is a medium-range volume of fire. Now, the long-range air-to-air is going to be susceptible to being taken out by the LAM system, because we're not going to have too many of them. They will fire and then take their route to the target. Some will be fast. We'll work on some distancing, etc., on those to changing the actual missile components slightly for each missile. Now let me just think here. If we've got that here, we could put the missile systems at the rear, just to the side of this. So if we leave the little gap and just had, I don't need many. Now, because of the problem we were getting with them being blown up, this was one of the issues that I seem to have. Now, how many blocks we're going to need? We're going to need about seven blocks. So go for about 7 block, maybe an 8 block missile. Won't go straight there. We'll leave a bit of a gap. So start about here. About here. About like that. Now I'm going to go for... These are going to be separated. So we have a missile launch pad on each. And what I mean by separated is we're going to have 8 missiles. They're independently controlled, so we'll sort that out in a second. We're going to put an ejector on these missiles, just to shove them up high straight away. These will also be usable against surface targets, but their priority is going to be aircraft. Right, that's 7 blocks. Okay, now if I do this at this moment, it means that top gun will not be able to turn around to shoot items behind it. Or will it? Will it? It might just be able to, if I don't put anything too much here. Okay, what I'll do is I'll scrap this last one, and we'll make sure that that gun can turn around. If we've got to make this, ship a little bigger than I want, then so be it. I am here for. We need to make something which is effective. Is the most important thing here. Beauty is not the most important thing for me here. Right, there we go there. Excellent. Now, okay, controlling this. What we're going to have, we need our missile controller. Let's put all of the things we need. So, missile controller. We'll need a identify friend or foe, just there, because these are infrared. We will need a staggered fire, just there. We will need a missile controller, sorry, a local weapon controller, just there, so it can control it. And then we will put a separate AI mainframe just here, and that's to be duplicated. So each weapon has got its own mainframe. So if it takes it out, it just takes out that one weapon. We can still fire. It's not going to be able to target every single mainframe at the same time, hopefully, he says. Right, we're using metal because it's the best armor we have against anything that's going to be attacking us, and we are going to armor the tops of this up so that it is resilient from one system taking out the next. That is the aim. So if he does hit the missile just as it is popping up. Now what I'm also thinking here is a little higher. What I want to do is go up even higher here. So there's actually it'd actually have to be shooting down on this to be able to... is that going to be too high? Is this gun? That gun's definitely... Okay, we'll just go with the 1, not the 2. Yeah, there. So now if he was to try and hit this... Now obviously if he hits the missile just as it's coming up... So against that, what I'm going to try... I don't know if safeties will work. We'll see if that will work. But that's basically... armoured in that missile system. Now we'll put one on the outside as well. Put one more layer. Whoops. There. I'm going to have to put that in. Or... what if... There, that looks better. No, that's not right. That looks nicer. Yeah, well, I say that I don't want things looking nice, but there is, you know, there's times when I just like things to be... what can I say? Sometimes I like them to be right. I can't help it. I can't help it. It's the way my brain works. Everything has to be neat and ordered on occasion. You know, can't be not having things neat and ordered. It's just not right. It's just not. Have to be logically ordered. I think there's some people that are worse than me. I just haven't met many. Okay, so now we've got that is a fairly secure, I think, and potentially protected from the laser catching it. So okay. And we've got a bit of space in the centre here. Now this space in the centre is where I'm intending to put the engine. So the engine will go in this area in here, possibly. This hull will be pulled out a little bit and then come back in. This section is going to be high. So we're possibly going to bulge out a little bit in this section. But it's a turtle, so we'll allow the bulges in the centre. Okay, next system. Well, now we're looking at a medium range system. So that's our 7 block, which is going to go out to about, let's say, 3,000 meters. Maybe a little, yeah, about 3,000 meters. We're not going to go out to 4,000. I think 3,000 will be sufficient on these once we have got them built up. With the new system, we'll work on the accuracy and everything in a little while. Part of testing as such. Right, engine in the centre here. If need be, we can put a double engine in. We'll put one down at this level, and then if need be, we can put one on top of it as well. So we double up on the engines. Again, doubling up. Here, let's see, which means our main control deck will put the main AI and our control center here. I think we'll just, as a marker, put a chair just in here, and this will be where all of our main control blocks and everything go for controlling the ship, and the main AI for propulsion. Right, now the other system only needs to be around 4-5, let's say a 5-block missile system. This is for our closer range 2,000 meters somewhere in that region. And what we want, or what I'm after, is firing a lot of missiles very quickly. I'm actually thinking here of a mass fire, i.e. everything fires just in one go. Again, we'll split it into 2 sections. Let's have a look. Now, we're possibly not going to need, we'll leave a little space underneath. If I'm only going down 5, let's say this is going to come down a couple here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's right, it's going to be about the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus the other bit, so I can go up a couple from here. Let's set it in that section there, so each one will be in that type of area. 6-way connectors. Now we're going to have a fair few here, but I'm going to try and protect them a little bit. Let's just see what we can set up. I'll just set up this area first. Oops. And maybe have them sort of, if I just mark it out, I don't need any ejectors on this one. These are just going to be, so if we started like that and have them alternate, so like a checkerboard type of layout. Yeah, that should I think be okay. Let's now just put the launch pads in there. Have these facing backwards. Okay, and the missile blocks. That looks okay. That's, yeah, I'm sort of okay with that. I don't have any issues. So that gives us basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's going to be 16 missiles. Now what we're going to do in here, we will put our missile controller just there. I will do the same as we did before. I want to identify friend or foe, just there. Our I'm not to worry about staggered fire. I'm just going to go for the, because these are all going to fire at exactly the same time. No delay. Oops, that was supposed to be a weapon controller. Then the mainframe. There we go. So they all just fire in one go. One big sort of boom is the intention. We'll put some metal blocks up on the top. How many have we got? 1, 2. We could just do again metal beams. It's going to make this a bit tall. But it would protect them. Makes it the same height on that rear all the way back. We'll leave it there for the moment, and if I've got to rework that with some blocks. Reason for doing this that way, I'm trying to use beams wherever possible, as much as anything, just to keep our block count down. I don't want to go too mad. I mean, crikey, someone classed me as being extravagant. You know, I can't be classed as extravagant. We'll put some extra block here. Defenses. So this is all well blocked in. Heavy defenses as far as possible. I mean, if it's got a laser which has got thousands of, I say thousands, hundreds of armor piercing, a block isn't going to help it. In which case, you know. But now we've got 6 weapon systems on here now, with individual AIs for each cannon, for the main long-range weapon missiles, and for the close-range missiles. And we'll have one more AI which will have the main cruise system on it. So okay, that's our system there. Next is the engine. So we'll just get our engine laid out down here. We'll just start that off. Nice little custom engine block. Thank you. Why are you on your side? Come on, that way. Annoyingly, they still haven't cured. There's no way of telling which way's forward and backwards on this engine. And it is actually directional, which is annoying. Let's go for our crankshafts. That way. Now, if I just put one straight on the top, we'll see if it's the right way around. See, not connected to engine block. So I've got to take that off, turn it around, and now it is connected to the engine block. Very annoying that. There's no, I can't see any graphical difference between it to say which is the right way around. Just one of those minor annoyances. I have. Not really important, but you know, annoyances are like that. Sometimes they're not necessarily important. They just annoy, and just as in the name goes. Right now, I could use prefabs on there. People have said I should use prefabs more for my engines, but this isn't going to be exactly the right, a normal type of engine, because it's a little close in. I'm going to have to manually create it. I'm not using a hyper efficient engine. I'm using and this could be extended through here just to give a little bit more efficiency. I'm not using a hyper efficient or one that goes against basic concepts. What I mean by that is, I've discussed it before in other videos. Some people, or there is some builds of engines which exploit the mechanics of the game to get extremely large amounts of power, which is fine, but there is going to be a cannon overhaul happening at some point, and when it does, it means those will stop working, and all those people will be crying because their lovely millions of power engine to cover all of their shields, etc., no longer works. And they'll be going, oh, well, you bust my engine. Well, if you'd have designed it around basic good concepts, you wouldn't have that issue. This will still give out a good amount of power. It won't be, you know, this won't be a problem for the amount of power I'm using. We need, because we're initially, I'm not going to put shields on this, because we're not up against anything which basically fires cannons, so no need. So what power have we got out of that initially? That's already given us 2,995, and actually the GUI on the left hand side is correct for a change. Woohoo! Maybe they fixed that. I don't know if that's gone up or down. I don't know which one's good or bad at the moment. But anyway, that's good. Right, well, we just give it some oil. Otherwise, it's not really going to be going anywhere. So a little bit of fuel storage. Just a couple of barrels of oil. Doesn't need much. And a supply pump. Not a supply pump. Wrong one. A fuel processor. Shouldn't really need it, but we'll put one there anyway. So that's the engine done. What are we left to do? Okay, I'm gonna sort out a bit of the hull. What we've got left now is just a bit of a makeover on the hull to just make this a little bit nicer on the front and the side. Make it float, which is always a benefit and put some propulsion into this, because obviously we also need to make it go forwards and backwards, otherwise that's also a bit of a problem for the ship if it doesn't go forwards. And I'm going to try, the intention was to try and make this relatively quick ship so that it can chase down any of the flying vehicles it's up against. That was another basic concept I had in my head for this, which I'll try and keep going. So that's there. I'll armour up the decks as much as I can within reason. Looks like that's going to be a good level here. See, I'm already starting to do it, so that's there, and then this one is going to come back at this level and then have to go up a bit to allow for there. It can come out in that sort of way and then come up. We're going to double layer up some of the armour just to in some of the what I call the belt armour areas, which is going to be around key components such as the AI, the bottom of the turrets, because I hate it when it hits the bottom of the turret and you lose your whole turret. And obviously this AI section here, we'll armour that up a little bit heavier as well. Some of the other sections we will leave a little lighter, but certainly not too light. Just if I put some in here, that's putting a double armour section all around there, and then we'll do the same around this one as well. That's now double block armour either side as effectively on the belt on there, and we will do a little bit of armouring on here as well when we get round to it. And after this section, I should be doing this offline instead of talking about it, but yeah, whatever. Some people don't want to listen to this, in which case you can fast forward. That's what I put the time codes in there for. Okay, so we'll have that come in there. That will be about the come in there with a bit of the hull, something like that. Yeah, that should be fine. Just bring that around. You can see how it's roughly coming in my head, and we're gonna bring this out here a little bit. Maybe something like that. Run that back down there so that it sort of angles up a little bit and gives it a bit of a bulge. This will act as extra armour, so we'll have an extra layer of armour there, and I'll also wooden up the armour as well. See, we're already at 1400 blocks, so we are going to be close to that 2000 block limit. I've got to do the rest of this hull without too many extra blocks if I can help it. I think we might go a little over budget. Hey ho, never mind. Anyway, back in a little while, once hopefully the hull is at least semi-complete, and then we can look at defensive systems. The bits that I need to put in here are anti-missile systems, which I've got an idea for, anti-laser, and some, yeah, they're the main bits, anti-laser and anti-missiles. So, see you in a short while. Hello and welcome back, and most of the basic controls are now in place for the ship, which is nice. It's just about ready for defensive armaments, which is going to be the next large part of the ship. It's quite fast. There's some bit of work I need to do on the hull in various areas. It's not heavily armoured, but it has, you know, some good armour in key areas. Defences. Right, now we're going to look at defences in two areas. First one is going to be anti-laser system. So basically, to create an anti-laser system, what we need to look at is the laser warner and the smoke dispenser. Now the laser warner is fairly simple. It just needs a control block from memory. So if we get a 6-way connector, so we can create a few of these around, and what they do is they detect a laser signal anywhere near this block. So we'll just put it, it's got to be somewhere where it's not to interfere with any of the weapon systems. So we'll put it, let's see, yeah, we can put one here. I think I might take that out there, although that is leaving that open. Let's just put a metal beam down there to cover that up, because this is more important as such. Right, so we put, is that actually going to be enough? He suddenly says, I'm going to need that isn't going to work. Okay, let's start that one again. So okay, let's put metal block there, metal block there. Thinking about it, let's just put it on the front. It's not going to be, these things aren't necessarily nice to look at, but it's more function over form here we're looking at. So we put a laser warner on it, on the sides, and basically that will try and detect any, if we look at the settings on it, you can say, right, warn if within 20 blocks, and then dispense block within 20, and then deploy up to, say, 5 smokes every second, just to see how that goes. 20 and then 5 smokes. Right, we will need to create a receiver so it can communicate with one of the AIs, and we'll set exactly the same over here. So these are, so they will work within 90 degrees from memory of this. So then we'll just create a few more of these. Now what I am gonna do is, then what we do is put actual smoke dispensers down, and hopefully I've got this correct, and we put this down in various places just to provide some some smoke defense. So these are basically going along the edge of the ship. I'd rather have too many than not enough of these, so we're just going to put them, dot these around in various places. Now from memory, I don't believe these need to be connected directly to an AI. If I've got that wrong, we will soon find out. So these can go on the top of this as well, and these we won't put it on top of that at this second. We won't put them in the way where they may impede anything. We can add these in later once we've worked out, make sure that they actually work with some sort of laser ship coming in against us. So we'll put another one, say about here, just a side-on detector. So another 6-way connector. Just there, and we're going to put a wireless receiver on the edge, and then a laser warner there and there, and then just set it up again. 25, 25, there we go. So that's basically the laser. It should deploy smoke within 20 squares of this. So we might need to put one more down, say about here. So again, a 6-way connector. Actually, we'll put it. We might put 2 here. We'll put one there, and we might put one just there for as a rear. As well, and so there, laser warner, and the receiver, just put it around the back here, there we go, and this one, we'll put this one on the top, and then put the warner on the side, and the rear. So that should detect any. We'll put one on the front as well. That should detect any missile fire anywhere. Missile fire, laser fire anywhere near these detectors. That's the intention and the aim, and basically set them off. Okay, next item. We will give that a test. Make sure that that actually works. The easiest way is to find a small vessel which will fire lasers at us, and we can just make sure that they actually work. But we'll do that in a minute. We'll do that in a minute once we've done the other section. The other bit is going to be the interception missiles. So what we're going to do is going to fill up this center section with a few missile missiles. First of all, what we're going to do is create a detector. Now, the way I like creating a detector on here is if we create a nice little block there. In fact, we can. Whoops, that wasn't good. Let's put myself over here. And I'll put myself into this chair while I'm thinking about it, so I can get back here again in the future. Right, so where did I get to? If I edit, new object, where have you? Okay, thank you. Right, okay. Don't know what it did there. It just got a bit confused as to who I was and where I was doing, etc. Okay, we'll put it up the top here. All we need to do is enough room to put it. That should be fine. New object, spin, precision, and then on the top of that we put a 6-way connector. On top of that we put a wireless receiver, and then all around it we put missile warners. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we put a little control block. Whoops, and we just go out of here, go to hull, edit an automated control block that just simply says if there is any enemy, hostile enemy. Actually, we can just have this go every few seconds. Just set this control block, spin block, that's within to here to a rotation of, let's say, what should we say, 3? 2. There we go. So that's basically rotating and will detect anything, any missiles coming towards the system. Now we'll put one on the front as well, just to complete it up. We will put some metal blocks just round the base of this, just to protect it a little bit. No point it getting taken out by some errant little bit of shrapnel or laser fire. So there we go, that's a nice simple little missile detector. So where can we put the other one? The obvious place to put the other one is at the front here. Let's see, we need a couple of spaces height. Actually, what we can do here is the one on the front, that one's doing our all aspect detection. So actually I think we can just leave it at that one for the moment. We might put a couple of manual ones actually. Let's think. We'll look at possibly putting some manual ones down later. Right, next we need to actually put the just seen something which wasn't filled in. There we go. Need to put the actual defensive missiles, which we're going to put along here a little bit. Now we'll just split these up. I like the missiles slightly differently. What I mean by that, it's going to be vertical launch, but we're going to create different versions of the same missile for different ranges. Now what I've been working on, or just verifying, if we put a missile controller here and we put a staggered fire in here. Now this is going to be the long range version, and I've done that totally wrong. I've forgotten to put the launch pads in, because I'm numpty and I'm like that. Right, okay, let's put them back because they are supposed to be there. Okay, let's try that one more time. In fact, we're going to do this slightly different to save a bit of height. And then we put the launch pads in, facing up. And put the mirror line in before I forget. So we're going to do a few of these. There we go. Get there eventually. Just. Oh. And the mirror line's gone the wrong way. Hang on. There we go. Having a bit of a fade moment there, so apologies. Right, so that's going to be 4 of them, and now we can put the missile controller just straight down there, and we will put the staggered fire just there, and that's going to be a fairly short staggered fire. And then we put the control block for these, automatic control block, just here, set for any hostile missile within 500, weapon system within 2 blocks, fire. Okay, now we're going to build the missiles. Now this isn't going to basically do too many missiles. There will be a limit as to how big how many missiles this will protect us against, because this is just intended as a very simple. And the Interceptor, where's the Interceptor? Assign that to all. Now I might make it more. So one good thing of this is I can just put that there, put another one here, there we go, we've got more missiles. So nice and simple, Haven't got to worry about how many missiles we have or haven't got on that there, which is excellent. We'll just put a bit of protection in there for them. It's a little different between those two. Why is that? Has that not gone down as far as it can? That potentially is why. There we go. There we go. Okay. So that's them sorted out. Now we need some. I'll do another row of them, but these ones are going to be for the more close-in protection, so they're going to be slightly more agile. But we'll follow that same basic premise. So, okay, 6-way connector. We'll use what we've done already. A few more of these ones. Launch pad. Let's see, what else are we going to need? We need some blocks just in there, just a metal block, just to separate these two sections up a little bit. I'm not using the metal blocks. Okay, missile controller facing downwards. A staggered fire just here, but a lot. I like this one at a longer range. The automated control block just here, and this one range of 2 fire weapons, weapon system fire weapons if a hostile missile is closer than 400. So the other ones will fire first, then it will start firing at these ones. That is the intention. Okay, we'll have these facing at the opposite direction. And these ones, whoops, are a little longer because they have more fins in them. The intention is these will be very agile missiles. So short range, and then 1, 2, 3, then a fuel tank, and then the interceptor. Assign that to all of them. So that's those missiles also now ready. Okay, so we just got to fill in this section here just to make sure it's not going to be susceptible to being blown the crap up, because that would not be good. Now hopefully the laser system, I don't know whether the enemy's laser system, the LAM, will blow up the interceptor missiles. I've not tested that, so that's going to be an interesting little test when it happens. So there was another one. I was originally, when I was working this out, I was looking at doing this slightly differently, and putting multiple smaller units around, rather than a one large one like I have here, of putting a number of smaller blocks around. But I've gone with this particular version now, so we'll see how that works out. Now this is going to be, I haven't 100% finished. I'm going to put a few bits and pieces on here, but it's generally in a starting position to be ready for a bit of combat testing. We'll start it off nice and easily. Let's just see if there's some other places I need to fill in just to make this look correct. We need to work something on the side here. How about a 2 meter angle? Something like this. That looks like that fills that in quite nicely. I can also, don't think it'll affect it if I do it like this. That warner will still work, I believe. And then we can use some 1 meter there and on the back. Now, there's one other system I haven't put in place for anti-missile, and that's a flare system. The flare system, I will... Let's see, where should we put the flares? Flare system. I want that chucking out the back, basically, the flare system. So as if it detects anything, it will just basically launch flares out the rear. We can possibly put it onto this, actually. Let's just create a little section to put this on, because it doesn't need very much. All you need on this is missile. Let me think. Quickest way to do this, so it doesn't. I don't want it looking too bad, but okay. Let's missile block. That's the wrong one. Missile 6-way. This will work. Okay. Missile controller down on this side just here, and we'll take off the stagger line for a second, and a staggered fire here, set very low. That's fine. Now we can add the launch pad. And a 1 block on the back here. Yes, it's very susceptible to being damaged, but as long as it gets a chance to fire its flares just once. Where's the sticky flare? Sticky flare, sticky flare. There we go. Ignite delay, and that can have a 1 second delay. Assign to all. Now, what I have done before is I've put ejectors on this so it fires out separately. Then what we do is, we're here though on this one, because we're moving, I think I can get away without doing that. So here, if enemy missile closer than, we'll set this so it only works, whoops, okay, range of 2 is all we need. So when the enemy missile is fairly close, so if it gets through our main protection, the first salvo, it will start firing these weapons, and basically this will just drop, basically, as you see, a crap load of flares behind us, which will create a very hot spot, which will hopefully then attract a lot of other flares, lots of missiles for quite some time. Now, okay, something I haven't put on this yet is ammo barrels. So let me just go and sort out the ammo barrels and some ammo production, and then we should be able to sort of do some testing, I think, of this and see where we get to. So I will see you in a short bit. And welcome back, ready to do a bit of testing. One big change is I got the smoke system totally wrong. For some reason my brain wasn't working, and I forgot I had to do the same as I've done on the warners. I've got to put them onto a 6-way connector with a radio. Otherwise the smoke dispensers will not actually dispense effectively. So sorry about that, I got that a little wrong, so please adjust that in your systems if you're trying to copy that one. So make sure you use a 6-way connector, which is under AI. We'll just build one here, and then on top of that put a wireless receiver, and then on round at the edges you can put your smoke dispenser. And that is how you get a functional smoke dispenser. Okay, so we're ready to do a little bit of testing against some of the come out of there. Of the where am I? Where's my character? There we go. Some of the lightning hoods. Let's just give a few tests, see how this goes. We'll have a bit of a rest in between to let it go. Now we're not going to go straight for a cathode because this is on its own. This is only a it's a bit bigger than expected, 2,700 ship. So theoretically we'd get about 3 of these in against a cathode. So let's just try some of the smaller ships. First of all, the aircraft. What's one of the ones that came in? We won't go against a cathode, which is 60 points. What's something else? A Strider. That's about 8 points, or Surge. Let's go for a Strider first. See how that goes. So that's our long-range missiles. Should be firing, and also our secondaries as well. They all fired, and also the cannons are firing. Now we've got laser coming in, and our smoke dispensers have dispensed, and our missiles have quite happily hit that this time. At that range they came in and did a nice bit of damage. Excellent, exactly what we want to see happen. Right, we will just let them sort themselves out. Is it still? It still thinks it's alive at the moment. So our missiles are still turning. This is an unfortunate part about this guns. It's gonna have to wait for it to turn around before it will face the other way. I might have to see what I can do about that. Unfortunately, it means ripping off a whole section of this top. But this is a bad situation. There is another alternative, and that is I make the guns point upwards, but it would mean that they would be useless against any surface targets. So as you can see here, they're still not turning around. So I need to change, see if I can change this angle here. Where's my control area? Let's change the broadside angle from 60 down to 40 and see if that turns it in enough. He should hopefully turn in. No? So I always want him going forwards, basically, towards the target, so that it will turn the guns forwards whenever possible. So we'll reduce the minimum range as well, because we want this close in. So let's change the broadsword minimum to 1. That's better. He's going in close. Excellent. Okay, he's now finished that off. Those guns fire far enough, fast enough. They're not highly accurate, but they're good enough for what we need here. Okay, let's just let everything go back and reload. Then we'll bring something else in a little bit more. So that was that level. Let's see, Surge is the next level up, a very fast ship. So let's see how it does against a fast ship like the Surge. Just out of interest. Again, okay, we've got our smoke has come up. And how's our missiles, etc., doing against it? And they're coming in quite nicely. They tracked it down and caught up with it quite nicely. Some of our longer range ones didn't there. Let's see if they go. So that the missiles have now got enough fuel to be able to track it down, and once it gets in range, our guns are having a go as well at it. They are finishing it off, effectively, the guns. Yep. Okay, so that's the Surge. Seems to be quite reasonable against that vehicle. Okay, that's another one. Just let it reset itself. Now, we'll see how it does against a cathode in a minute. We'll see what else is left. So we are going against flying ships, but so far it's done quite respectable. Let's just, I'll get it back to its start position and let it reload, and then we will start it against something else. Okay, it seems to be loaded up, so let's see something else to put it against. What's the next level up with? So we've done the 10, Dagger, Caspian. Where's something else? Solaris, that seems to be something which would be up against. We haven't tried against the Solaris. See how it does against that. So missiles away straight away before it could do anything, which is good. We have smoke, which has helped immensely. We are taking some hits, but not too bad. We'll go and have a look how the enemy is doing. He hasn't got anti-air missiles, but we're doing seems to be doing a fair bit of damage here, where some of our missiles are missing. Okay, we have enemy missiles now coming in. Let's see how our missile defences do. So our missile defences have taken some, but not all of them out, but have now deployed flares. So the flares could come out a little sooner, because that gave us some severe problems. So let's just go in and sort that out with the flares. Yeah, we need to make them at 3. There we go. Those missiles did us a fair bit of damage against that there. You can see we took some severe damage from that one, but we are still firing. He hasn't taken us out, even though he went for did try for it. Oops, let's take this off. Our missiles are still firing, and we would be repairing at this point, and hopefully we would have some friends who would be helping us. So what we'll do is we will bring in, I'll just save the vehicle, and let's bring in a nice friend for us. We'll load in another one, Turtle AA Destroyer. But our main one, our first one, is still firing, so it's not like he's out of the game as such, out of the battle. And he in fact, without the other guy, he did eventually take this Solaris out, which is excellent. So he did do his job eventually. And those missiles are going in there and doing a nice bit of damage now. Excellent. Right, we'll just... Right, he's being taken out quite nicely. We'll just make sure everything is in there. There's a lot of, as you can see, a lot of AIs now. But that's on purpose to ensure that they can't laser all of the AIs out. So the air-to-air defense, the flares needed to be a little bit sooner. So his missile barrage did take a lot out, but not enough of them. But now we are punishing him with cannons and missiles. So that's good. He isn't dead yet, though. He is still quite how big a ship was this? This was a 3,000, so yeah, it's about equivalent, so that's fine. That's part of this combat tuning. Okay, well, just let this one finish off. He's out of it, so I'll just destroy him and we'll reload our ships. Okay, right, now for effectively the big test. Let's see if 2 of these can survive against a cathode. Let's see what happens. See if we're even in the ballpark. Let's just basically. So, in we go. Cathode. It's a big ship. Let's just see. Let's see. See if we're we've got some missiles out, which is good at the beginning. We'll see what damage we get into this. We have guns coming out onto it as well. Now we know it will be shooting down our missiles. So there's some of these missiles, but not all of them. Some have managed to get through, which is good. And we have cannon fire coming through as well. The missiles have this time caught up with it. We have our own anti-missile systems firing, and we have our smoke being dispensed against him as well. Now, a lot of the missiles are still gonna hit. We're taking out some of the missiles, and some of them went for the flare system. They did hit us with a fair bit. Is the second unit? Second unit is firing at the target. Missiles are being fired out. Have we got enough? And we've got shells going out. We've got smoke around our ship. We've got missile interceptors firing. We have the flares out as well. Not sure where all these interceptors are going. But so far we have survived, at least. There's obviously a lot of missiles in the water. That's where some of these are going to. Now this ship is going a bit under the water just at this second. He did take a big hit there. We didn't get enough of their missiles. They're already too close to a degree. Okay, the turret is a problem. The fact that these turrets have not turned round yet. That might be the biggest problem I've got at this second. That I might need to look into. The turrets don't turn around now because there's a long time where they could have been firing there. And they weren't, so I might have done to put this turret as a vertical turret and forget about some of their turning. Okay, they are now firing again at the target as it comes round, and the missiles are also coming in and doing a bit of damage. Now at the moment I'm just using fragments. I did think about maybe I should put some of the missiles use EMP. But okay, we took damage on one, but the second ship has taken out the cathode. We've done enough damage, took its laser out, and yeah, much more effective AA ship. Obviously it helped having the the smoke against his lasers. The cannons don't quite have enough ammo. That's a problem. He has got, yes, he has got his own anti-missile systems there. But we are taking it out, so it's now in the water. So yeah, if we had other ships in the fleet that were good against ships, that would be helping and improving. In fact, the other ship is now firing again some of his missiles. Seems to be having a problem getting out of the water, but we'll see what it's like when he's repaired. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy. Needs a couple of little alterations, I think, but nothing major. It's certainly good enough to take out. It's just the cannons, to be honest. With them not being able to do a full 360, I'm a little bit disappointed about them. So I might have a look at changing something on those, see what I can come up with before I bring it into the campaign. But another little ship built specifically to target the Lightning Hood's aircraft. So job done, as in that regard. Certainly not a as big a problem as it was before. Hopefully, it looks like I might have to do something about ammo production as well. That's not too bad a problem. So, I will try to put this, once I've completed that, I will put this up onto the Steam Workshop. But until next time, or first of all, any comments? Please leave them down below. What ship should I do next? Should I look at something else? Or I'm most probably going to just actually modify some of the existing ships. But hopefully this has been informational, or it will help you with your own builds, hopefully. But until next time, keep building, keep fighting, and have fun.